Okay, we're live. Greetings, this is Ojambo. In this tutorial, I'll teach you how to use the PHP web framework called Flight. Before I begin, quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. Visit ojambo.com for details. Basically, you go to the watch menu, live sub, and you see the topics for this and future post-dated live streams. You're free to ask any questions in the live chat about programming or lifestyle topics. And for example, this current live stream, there's a link here. You can go in there and you can post your requests. If you don't want to do that, you can simply watch the video. If you visit the website, you can simply scroll down. You can watch the live stream. It's embedded. Be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Once again, I would like to thank everybody who's been subscribing, especially last month and this month as well. Just keep it up. Thank you very much. It motivates me to keep on making content like this. Okay, so what is Flight PHP? Basically, you can use Flight. This is going to be the first Flight PHP tutorial. We're going to use the MVC structure. So what that means is that the M stands for model, the V stands for view, and C stands for controller. And I'll explain that when we actually make them from scratch. And we're going to have MariaDB. We're going to use an existing MariaDB. If you don't have a database ready, of course you can use MySQL. You can just create one yourself and just follow along. The reason I use an existing one is because it helps if maybe somebody's trying to migrate from an existing PHP application, especially one that is maybe deprecated or abandoned. So you already have an existing application, so you can just easily migrate over. Okay, so this is one of those micro frameworks for PHP that enables you to build web apps and APIs quickly, perfect for beginners and experienced developers alike. This framework is actually revived with community contributing, restoring features like route groups, middleware, and a simple database wrapper while maintaining compatibility with version 2 apps. You can see the official documentation at flightphp.com, and of course the source code is available on GitHub. Okay, so for example, if we go here or click this link, you see it goes to docs.flightphp.com. As you can see, it says it's an extensible micro framework for PHP and explains why you should use it and how to get started here. You see how simple that is, and you see it's really get outputs JSON. I'm not going to use JSON as I said before. I'm going to get the HTML. It's even more human readable than JSON. Okay, so let's get started with our creating the application. So what I'm going to do here is, you see I have the terminal open and I have the folder is only here just to show you what I'm doing. Oh, if you're following along using the article on ojambo.com, you can see the structure for the application. Okay, so let's get started. So all you do, make sure you have Composer installed. So I type Composer space and then I type require Flight PHP. One more time, Composer space require space Flight PHP, one word, all lowercase, and then slash core, and then the version I want. I don't need to put the version; it should be the latest version. So I'll just do that. You can see the latest version time it's coding is 3.17, and you see it's done. It's now if we take a look at the folder, you see it's empty. It's empty. What happened here? So it's completely empty here. Now do not get upset or anything. See, it's empty. The reason for that is because I don't have an app yet. So it is installed. I hope I installed it in the right place. Where am I, by the way? I might have installed it in the wrong place. Oh yeah, I installed it in the wrong place. That was my fault. So I think, let me get this out of here. See what I did wrong here. Okay, I have to delete this later. Oh, I need to make sure the database is started anyway. So MariaDB. Okay, so I'll do this again. No, I don't want a terminal. I want the console, because console makes it easy to zoom in. So let's clear this. Okay, so let's do this again. So composer require Flight PHP /core. So if we go here, yeah, you see it has installed the composer.json, composer log, and vendor. Okay, so that it's because it's a micro framework. That's all it's installed. However, there's a few other things I need, so I'll make them on the command line here. Let me see if I can actually. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is. Okay, there we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some folders. I'm going to make. Of course, because I'm using the file browser, I could simply right click, but I prefer the command line. So basically what I need to do is I need to make 3 folders just for the MVC structure. So what I do is create the controllers, models, and views. So as you see, these are the folders I just created. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some empty files. In the models, I'm going to create a file called home controller.php. Then in the views, I'm going to create one called people.php. These are all camel case. And then what I need to do is I'm going to create an index. Oh, I forgot one more. Oh, the models. So in the models, I need to create people dot. Oh, I think let me redo this all over again. Okay. Recreate those folders one more time. So in the controllers, I'm going to create a file called home controller.php, camel case. In the models, I am going to create a file called people model.php, again it's camel case. And then finally in the views, I'm going to create one called people lowercase.php. And then finally, I'm also going to create an index.php just in the root, or which will become our web root. So that's, that should be actually index.php, not index.html. Okay, now that said, I'm going to open these files up in the GNOME text editor. So there are a couple ways to do this, but I think what I'll do is I'll just do a drag and drop. So I'll right click this and I'll say open with text editor. That's the home controller. And then in the models, the people model, I'll open that again. You can use any text editor you wish. And the views, people.php, open with text editor. And in the index.php, these are all empty files. Where is our, oh here it is, there we go. See, they're all empty. So let's start with the simplest one, the people. Yeah, let's start with the home controller. So the home controller, it's very simple. It's going to be obviously a PHP file. I'll zoom in here so you guys can see it. So you see how the photo structure, just the way that is. So starting here with the home control.php, I have sample code. You can simply just expand and copy it there. So the only difference, I'm using people instead of user because I installed a framework before, and it wanted to overwrite my users table, so that's why I renamed to people. That's the only difference. Okay, now that said, as you can see here, in the home controller, I just have one function. Sorry, in the home controller class, I just have one public function. It's called index, and I'm using PDO, that's PHP data object. So I have a new one. I'm using MySQL. We also work for MariaDB. Host equals localhost. DB name equals guy. That's the name of the database. And the char set is set to UTF-8. And then this is the username, guy as well. And then the password, guy pass. And then I set some arguments. The error mode is set to error mode exception. Then the model equals new people model, PDO, and people equals model get all people. And then after that, I basically use flight, render people, and people in an array. The people object is the one where we get all people. Okay, so that's literally the controller, home controller. So that's it. Next, I will go to the model. And for the model, it's also pretty simple. Zoom in here a little bit. Oops, did I copy the wrong thing? Oh no, I didn't. It's a little bit confusing. Okay, so here, the people model, that's the actual, you see it's just a PDO, basically the PHP data object. You see the function in the constructor, it passes in the PDO object. So it says this DB, which is the basically PDO is PDO, and then the get all people, it returns an array, and the statement, it will DB query select all from people, and then returns the statement as a fetch all, and you see it's fetch associate. So in case you guys don't understand why I'm doing this here, why you have this here, this basically just means that's how it returns. So this is a way for using in PHP. I believe it came out in PHP 8. You can do things like this. Okay, now with that said, let's go to next. We're going to go to this one, which is our view. Yeah, this is a view, people.php. So this one is where you can put your HTML. So as you can see here, obviously we have a doc type, and then we HTML in the head section of a meta for the char set UTF-8, and I have a title. Just put people list. We have the styling. This is not a styling tutorial, but basically I'm just styling the table. You don't need to do this, but I just like it because I'm able to do it. The most important thing is here in the body section, the HTML. I have an H1 called people list, and I have a table, a table head. Then I have the headers, ID, username, name, age, and verify. This all come from the database columns or fields. And then in the T body, the table body, you can see I use a PHP for each loop. And then because the object is called people, I say for each people as person, and person is where, for example, I got the person ID, person username, person name, person age, and person verify. And then I close off the for each loop, and then I close off the table body, and then table, close off the body, close off the HTML. I do like this instead of using templates, because the problem with templates is that you need to maintain them, meaning that, for example, if I use, I'm not against using templates, I just want to make that clear. So there are some PHP templates such as Yi, like YouTube came out, right? And then there's other templates like Smiley templates, you know what I mean? So you need to keep on, if you do that, you need to keep on making sure they're updated. So I'm not saying that you create this application and forget about it. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you need, especially when you work by yourself, you want things not to be a maintenance burden. So that's why I prefer, for example, using this. This is just PHP. This is going to be maintained, or has been maintained for a very long time. So it's pure PHP. Okay, so let's save this. Next, we're going to work on our index file. This is where I guess you could say we create our route and all that as well. So as we can see here, I'll zoom in as well. So the first thing I do is I require the vendor autoload.php. Remember when we first installed Flight, it came with only one folder, which is the vendor. So we'll grab the autoload.php, then that will let us grab all the components that we need for the Flight. And then after that, we require from our controllers the home controller.php, and then from the models we require the models / people model.php. Now you might say, hey, how come what about the views? Well, good question. So on 9.6 here, you see we use the Flight object, which is I believe a class, and then we set the Flight path will be views.path to set to views. And then after that, you see the route, which is a slash, so meaning this would be a home page. You say new home controller, the index. So basically roll up the index file, then we Flight start. That's it. So we created the router, we created the views, we created the models, we created the controller, and we're using Flight. Now, I want to say something. I'm not against using frameworks, but as you can see, with an application like this, do you really need a framework, honestly? Especially if you can use Pillow directly or even MySQL. But hey, some people swear by this type of framework. So there we go. Now you learn how to use another framework to write less code. Okay, let me make sure you save this. Alright, so then all we need to do now is just start. So now we can obviously, let's see if so basically then you can run this anywhere you want. So obviously let's go back to the command line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do PHP space -s, capital S, and then I'll type localhost :8000. So this is a development server. It's a PHP development server. Obviously, you can put any port number you want in here. Now, if you had another server like Nginx, Apache, or any others like Lightspeed, any of the other servers, you could use those instead. But since I'm using PHP and this is a tutorial, I'm going to use the development server. Okay. With that said, now all I need to do is I'm going to open up a web browser. I'm going to open up Chromium. There was a recent update that has been crashing the past 2 days. Hopefully it doesn't crash on this. Okay, so then all you have to do is just type localhost 8000, and there we go. So you see it grabs our people list and it grabs all the data from the database. Now I can zoom in here so you can see less or more, sorry. As you can see, it grabbed the ID, username, name, age, and verified. So what I was trying to say is that this is a micro framework. Obviously, it's used for getting things like JSON and all that as well. Nothing against that, but I've just shown you how you can also use it to get data from an existing database. In this case, it's MariaDB, but MySQL, everything works exactly the same. Now, in future tutorials, I think there's about 2 or 3 more PHP frameworks I want to go through. So in future tutorials, I'll start up those frameworks again, and I'll show you how to edit, delete data from databases. So, but this is just a simple application, because most of the time, most of the work you always do when you have databases, usually just to grab the database data. Obviously, you need to insert it as well. I'll show you how to do that in future tutorials. Okay, so that's basically it for the coding part. You see how easy it is to use Flight PHP. Now, the thing with Flight PHP, remember it's a micro framework, so you need to do your own, like you just saw today. You need to create your own models, views, controllers, even the routers. So obviously, the bigger frameworks, they have more. They come with more built-in or out of the box, so you don't have to do as much work. But again, as I said, I could actually do all this just using PHP and the Pido, or even the MySQL connector itself. But I won't dwell on that. So these are screenshots. As you saw, this is exactly what we did today. So I'm not going to spend too much time doing that. As you can see, the result, it came out exactly the same. And as I promised, this is the live stream. You see, the live stream does work. It's live. And okay, so let's finish this up. This has already been about 20 minutes. I want it to be a little bit shorter than that. So if you need further resources and services, there's the book called Learning PHP by Ojambo. It's available on Amazon. The links are also in the description. There's also a course called Learning PHP. It's available on ojamboshop.com. The links are also in the description. And also, if you need one-on-one tutorials, need help on migrating from other PHP frameworks, or just one-on-one learning PHP tips and tricks, you can contact me at ojambo.com/contact. The links are also in the description. So the conclusion is that Flight PHP version 3.17.0 is a lightweight and modern micro framework that gives you everything you need to build an efficient MVC application. With support for MariaDB and clean routing, it's a perfect choice for new developers and rapid prototyping. Need help with forms, API development, or custom routing? Let me know. I offer professional support and tutorials to help you succeed. Now, with that said, quick reminder that I do a live stream every single day. It's usually around 2 p.m. Eastern. Visit ojambo.com, go to the watch menu, then the live sub menu. You see the topics for this and future live streams. And also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent tutorials. Thank you very much, everybody who subscribed so far this month. I really appreciate it. Also, with that said, I'm going to check the live stream to see if anybody posted a chat request. I don't see anything, so I'm going to end this chat. I'm going to end obviously the live stream, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.